Invest. We're talking about investing, finance, and professionalism for today's tips only. The investment I'm going to talk today would be Ethereum ETH. First, I want to say happy Friday and also happy Black Friday sales today. Respect to a golden time of 9:40 a.m. on the Eastern Time. Ethereum countering $4,128, down about 8.76% so far. On the overall crypto market and the equity market, you can see clearly we are having a relatively down day today, and we are having a half day today on the equity market, closing at 1 p.m. on the Eastern Time. So we're only hours away from the market closing. And the key sell-off on the crypto and the equity side is mainly coming from two components, right? And this is something we saw on the pre-market perspective from the equity side yesterday night. I would say somewhere around like when I was having dinner. So I was actually watching the China morning news. I was at a Chinese restaurant. I was watching the news that was live, broadcasting from Hong Kong. And I saw that across the spectrum with respect to a lot of Chinese stocks and also from the Hong Kong stocks, and some of the crypto related stocks were all down respectively. They were having some sort of like a correction yesterday, mainly due to obviously from the COVID variants news. Seems like it's percolating again, right? It seems like there's a new form of variants cases, right, that's been detected in various different regions of the world, right? And these places are, and they quote, based on the media affectation, are places like in Hong Kong, Israel, Botswana, Israel, again, they said Israel twice, Belgium. It seems like the cases are spiking in comparisons to the beta and the delta, but seems like this new variant, which they have specifically named, is called 8.1.529, which is like a new, I guess, label on this variant. It seems like that's spiking quite dramatically. If you look at the chart, it's the delta and the beta are kind of trading on a flat line, kind of like normalizing a bit. But with respect to the new variants, right, the we're number one, it literally spiked in the last 25 days to from just like not like at the 25% mark all the way to 100% in less than 20 days, right? So with that, new variants coming into the market is definitely drive some fear mongering, right? And as that news broke out on the domestic side, obviously, as people stop eating turkey for dinner, or separating from the Thanksgiving mood, onto the Black Friday mood, on the start of the hunt for the Black Friday sales, if you may, media affectations start to get picked up. And the news start percolating, and we can see collectively on the news front, it's been relatively more reminding and recurring news around this specific COVID variants news, right? Something that we'll dive into in a bit. And in addition to the COVID variants news, there was some sell-off across the crypto market spectrum as well, mainly due to the fact that China has more media affectation around the China crackdown on crypto mining again. So it was kind of like a double whammy affectation, which drove relatively significant sell-off across the spectrum right now, currently down about Ethereum 10% and Bitcoin down close to 7% right now. So let's just take a look at the news right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we just see consecutive of news around this COVID strain, type of news, right? So the Chris 15 minutes ago talked about the same thing, right? Talk about stocks and crypto drops, stem from the reports of new COVID strains. The next one's on Market Watch 2 hours ago, talk about major currencies tumble and concerns about new COVID variants. And then the next one's CNBC talks about the same thing. Bitcoin enters a bear market territory as risk assets plunge on new COVID variants. And the next one, and the last one is really just more of a trivial one on CNBC again 8 hours ago. Talk about Kevin O'Leary saying that he's a long-term investor in crypto. He's not interested in being just a crypto cowboy, if he may. That's the depiction that he's like kind of like swing trading, if you may, or short-term trading, if you may. He's a long-term holder. So that's pretty much all the news. So let's just go straight into the technicals. I think on a high level synopsis, I would say today is a dip. I think today is definitely a Black Friday shopping opportunity, despite how negative it sounds. Because COVID variants is not something that's going to be, obviously, viruses have different form of variants, but I think if we contain it well operationally and we work well with the pharmaceutical companies and people are being socially aware and thoughtful around how they engage and how they travel and how they are not acting reckless, I think collectively we will get better over time. So it's just a more of a long-term game. So today would be one of the opportunities for us to incur some buying opportunities. But in terms of the risk management levels, they will be selectively different based on the respective crypto assets, right? So respective Ethereum, let's just take a look at it right now. You can see that we were extremely oversold at one point. We sold down all the way to exactly where we were talking about, the 3,000 high 800s earlier, and you could see that we immediately got bought back up, right? You see the mini candle, even though like it was like a blink of 5 minutes, right? Because we were extremely oversold at that point. And I think the reason we oversold in the early morning is because of the COVID variants, and a lot of the electronic trading got triggered and subsequently drive sell off from there. So I also know that today is the option expiry for Ethereum. So a lot of people were expecting to basically take home about $120 million collectively, obviously not just single person home today, but seems like that could technically crack this, option expiry, right? So I think some people are not going to be taking home as what they were expected, right? This is definitely something that is more of well, firstly, media affectation, but secondly, I would say this is a little bit weird in terms of timing as well. So I'm not exactly sure, but ultimately, I'm not a medical, official, nor am I, a crypto fund manager. But obviously, we are always like raising that spidey sense to see if this makes any sense at all. But I think just it's so coincidental how it's happening right after obviously Thanksgiving and then the Black Friday. So it might be coincidental that today's a Black Friday sales across the entire world, not just for the US, but specifically for the crypto market as well. So I think right now it's not a terrible level to buy the dip. We are at the 44 out of 70, so not the best, not the worst. It's neutral. And I think, anywhere within the 3850 to 3475 would still be the dip, right? So incurring some risk right now is not a terrible idea, to be honest with you, because like we've been sustaining above the 4,000 for quite some time now, and today is a relatively more of a black swan event, right? We did not expect this. We know that we were progressing nicely on the COVID variants front, but seems like who knows, right? And I hope that I'm not driving any conspiracy theory, but like this could technically be maybe a fabricated story. Because ultimately we do not know the sources of these numbers. Like countries can collectively work together on driving a specific day to sell off because of specific, financial catalyst days, right? The option expiry, number one, and also with respect to whales incentives around when they want to sell, right? And when they want to sell, they'll sell at the peak, with that pump that we saw earlier, and then drive us a sell off from there. And then they will have the opportunity to incur big risk again. And then you will see that recurring nature of surge again, right? So it's that type of game that we are playing right now. It's not a fair game, right? Let's just put it that way. So that's something we have to think about, right? So Bitcoin right now, we're down about 8% as well. Ideally, dollar cost average again, right? You could see that we close to 53, so basically $1,000 away from the resistance level that we talked about. So ideally, dollar cost average at 52.5, like 52,500 to the 47,960. Again, right? Right now we're very oversold right now, so Bitcoin's a really good buy right now. I wouldn't be surprised if we revive again. Right? And right now the pattern is still relatively funky. We don't really see a head and shoulder. Definitely not a cup and handle. We can see clearly there's no cup or no handle. right? Just to remind us again, right? We do not see any cups or handles in comparisons to this right now, nor do we see any cups and handles in comparisons to Ethereum. We need to further breach that the top of the cup of the mouth area, right? We do not have it. We completely reverse back down. So this seems like a downward type of trend based on what we're seeing right now. So Dogecoin right now, we are at the 20. So the dip is right now. I would incur risk right now. You can see that we sold down all the way below to 1929 earlier today. Technically matching with the previous levels, right? And I don't see us dropping down any further actually for Dogecoin because we're relatively oversold with the 34, so below oversold. So the dip is right now for Dogecoin, I would say. Cardano is at 157 again, right? We are supposed to because we have a gap and we need to go down to 145. So at 145 or the current level is the dip right now. We are very oversold Cardano because of the banning issues with respect to eToro, but technicals doesn't really lie. So I think we're crazy oversold that you probably make sense to incur some risk right now. Solana, we are down below 200, so that's just a sign coming true altogether. So again, 133 to 113 from here. XRP, oh my god, did break $1 mark. So as you know, if we break $1, you can see clearly we broke below 93 cents as well, which was the next core resistance level. You could see that we broke close to 88, which was 90, and you subsequently got reversed back up. So technicals coming true, and I know that was the dip. 88.93 was the dip, and that's some people actually got very lucky buying into the dip right here. Polkadot down about 10% right now, so incurring risk around the current level is not terrible to the 25 level, like 33 to 25 is still the dip. ALGORAND 167 down about 8% right now, so yeah, anywhere around 160 to 152 is still the dip. Shiba Inu is going to keep coming down all the way to the 27,900 or like 2,800 to the 900. I think I'll start incurring risk at the 2,800 knowing the fact that we're relatively oversold now. And you can see that clearly is still down, but I think we should be normalizing a bit towards the end of the market closing later today on the equity side at 1 p.m. So we're technically like 3 hours away. So with respect to the risk management level, these are levels that we have identified so far, right? I would say we are touching on a lot of them respectively, right? So start using your cash reserve that we've been talking about. It's not a surprise, so it's no need to panic because this is supposed to happen, right? The patterns are still in a collective, you know, I would say obviously different patterns for different coins, right? But I would say collectively, 75% of the coins that we have collected or been observing so far are leaning towards the bearish side of the spectrum. So when that's the case, when everybody's panicking, you should be incurring risk, right? Because that's just logical if you believe in a long-term value proposition, right? So definitely a good shopping day today. Definitely a Black Friday, an official one on the crypto side and the equity side, right? Which is something we appreciate. We don't want to be buying when it's on a mega green day, right? That's a high premium. So definitely a great day to go shopping. So I'm going to do some shopping on both buying stuff online, like I showed you from yesterday, but also buying stuff on the financial market as well. So I really appreciate you. Feel free to give me a shout if you have any questions and stay tuned for some help. Take care. Bye.